Hey, good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. And it truly is an honor to sit here, especially during the Easter, to have a chance now to chat with the president of the Cayman Islands Angling Club, Mr. Franklin Thompson, together with VP Josh Ebanks. Gents, they say, a bad day fishing is better than a good day working. I don't know. What do you tell me?
I tend to agree with that.
I'd say that's one of a fisherman's most honest statements.
Yeah, that's even more honest than the one that got away, huh? Though, but there is something about just a casual fishing trip, is even there's such a thing to even say that, where you go out in the relaxing atmosphere. But in the competitive nature of fishing, but all the camaraderie that comes around it, we joke and jest about the fisherman's tales and the like, but there is something, whether it's the spouses, whether they're bringing the families along, or whether it's the conversations that you have after the evening of fishing, especially a tournament. But Mr. President, it's good to see the International Fishing Tournament on our calendar, and every year I think as people come out to fish, from the tall tales, into the wonderful evenings of celebration. So welcome to you, sir.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having us on board. We welcome the opportunity to discuss the 22nd Annual Cayman Islands International Fishing Tournament that's coming your way. May 2nd to the 5th are the fishing days. Registration will be on the 30th of April. And the prize giving award ceremony is going to be on the 7th of May.
Yeah, man. I mean, I guess we were ready with Paul Collins, your tournament control, and we were really going 3 souls on board.
Yeah, lines in the water.
Lines in the water. I always remember, I mean, from the earliest of the mornings, we had the radio on. And it's fun to listen to the boats check in, but it's also even more fun to be on board.
That's for sure.
Now, this tournament, Grand Cayman as well as Cayman and Little Cayman?
All of the Cayman Islands Angling Club tournaments include all 3 islands. Okay. So we have a weigh station over in the Brack at the Channel Wharf on the south side, and we have our representatives over there to assist with registration on the Tuesday night as well, next Tuesday the 30th of April, throughout the entire event. So yes, all of our events are inclusive of all 3 islands. And
that's what, for those who know that, but it's fun because we have tournaments sometimes that may be the Brack Challenge, or maybe just a challenge on Grand Cayman. But this one, you can be stationed in one spot, or you can move between the two if you want to.
And we have had boats in the past that over the 4 days of fishing, they'll spend 1 or 2 days here. They'll go to the Brack or Little Cayman for a few days. And we have boats that actually set up their headquarters in Little Cayman and fish exclusively from Little Cayman or the Brack for the duration of the tournament.
And when you think about it, the idea that you have these 4 days, May 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th, 4 consecutive days of fishing.
Thursday through Sunday.
Wow. I tell you what, man. I got to see if I can arrange some vacation. Josh, you need chum? I can come and help you.
You can always do it, actually, chum.
I don't know. I think a little bit too much sometimes. But it's fun. Now, before we get into the tournament, frankly, there's some of us that just drawn to fishing and to boats. It's almost as if there's salt water in their veins. I think some of us have to probably be careful when we go become blood donors that they check. Not just for plasma, they make sure there's extra some salt there.
Yeah, I mean, we live on an island, and for Josh and I and a lot of other members in the club, we're born and raised Caymanians. It's hard to get away from that. Fishing is in our veins. And it's something that we're trying to pass on to future generations. So part of the club's focus is also on educating the youth on responsible angling practices and conservation. Throughout the year, we run different events for the kids. All of our tournaments, including the International Fishing Tournament, have categories for kids' prizes or junior anglers' prizes. Mm-hmm. And we're focused on the development of the sport and preservation of our culture.
And when you say the culture, that's at the outset, I deliberately, some probably didn't catch it, but I didn't just say fishing, I say fishing. And even words like that people hear, they may think, oh boy, unintelligible, uneducated, but it's just part of the local vernacular. And if you ignore the parlance, sometimes it's not just colloquialisms, you forget how important it is. And for those of us who may have skipped school a couple times to go fishing, it was a good day. Fishing, that was, not school.
Yeah.
But Franklin didn't do that. He was a studious fellow.
Yeah, whatever.
But
I remember back in $1 Million Month days, and I'd get every now and again I'd get extraordinary permission from my parents to take a day and go fishing with my uncles in $1 million month. And the international fishing tournament has, grown out of $1 million month. $1 million month was our prize tournament for many years. It offered over $1 million in prizes. If you were to break the world record for blue marlin, $250,000 if you broke it for the Cayman Islands record. And in that theme, we have over $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs in international fishing tournament. If you break the Cayman Islands blue marlin record, it's $100,000 in cash, plus there's other additional prizes. And if you break any of the local records for wahoo, yellowfin tuna, or dolphin, you'll win $50,000 per species. 2017, one of our local anglers, Dwayne Ebanks, he tied the dolphin record, exact same weight, a few ounces heavier, and he would have been the lucky winner and a new record holder. We had some tuna records fall just through the winter, November, December, and into January. We had some remarkable catches. So the fishing around the island is great, and we're doing our part to promote it, let everybody know how good it is. On that note, for a number of years now, we've been working with international magazine publications. I've written a couple of articles to promote the islands and the sport fishing here. We've also been on television. Now, in the past, we've worked with TV celebrities and sport fishing celebrities such as George Poveromo, Bill Boyce. We did a couple of shows with Sport Fishing Magazine TV. We've done probably close to 20 shows now with Captain Jimmy Nelson, and we had 4. He shot 4 here last year, which will air every quarter of 2019, and we're shooting another 3 with him a bit later in the year to air in 2020. All of those shows air on the World Fishing Network and the Sportsman's Channel, and each time they air, they go into approximately 50 million homes. So that's great promotion for the islands.
Josh, I mean, you be in 50 million homes every day, man. 3 or 5.
I mean, I've had the opportunity to assist with a few of the shows, and just being able to interact with the fishing celebrities and fish with them on their level, and take that as a great learning opportunity to expand my knowledge and experience with fishing has been a great opportunity. The guys are awesome. They're they're very friendly. They're so passionate about fishing that it makes you want to find out what it takes or what they're doing differently to get on that level of passion. I mean, it's when you see their gear, when you see how excited they get when you catch a fish, it kind of takes you back to that mentality of a kid, the first fish you ever caught and how excited you were. That's the same excitement they get even now as an adult, the same excitement they get catching fish after fish after fish. So the opportunity to work with these overseas anglers and celebrities and bring that exposure to Cayman has been great for the club.
When you think about it, that idea of fishing, and for some, well, maybe because we used to watch fishing on TV, we'll be fishing at home, as it were. This is the original sort of reality TV. You think back to even the bass fishermen, Bill Dance Outdoors, for instance, or you watch others. Even though they're up somewhere in, I don't say this disrespectful, up in the swamp somewhere that they're fishing, whether it's bass or trout, or you get to really watch them out in the salt water, and they're catching fish that you recognize, and they're fishing around the world, and you turn on the TV and you go, oh, hey, I know that boat, I know that person, that's in Cayman. And you see how big it is. You're talking about 50 million homes. That's nothing to sneeze at in a sense.
Certainly not. And you mentioned Bill Dance. Another one of the great bass fishermen that's been on TV from the time I was a kid is Jimmy Houston, and he was down here last year. We coordinated all the local filming for him. The lady that was working with him, Misty Wells, she's going to be coming back and doing some work with us again this year. So as the word gets out there and people find out how friendly the Cayman Islands is and what a hidden gem it is, we don't have to go out and search for them any longer. They're regularly in touch with us by email, by phone, willing to work with us because it's an easy destination to get to. It's safe. The people enjoy the fishing. and even more so, the friendships and the relationships that they build from their time here, they cherish.
And the fishing is good.
Yep, fishing is good.
And the fishing is good. No, I guess that's where me and my brother sometimes disagree. See, they go fishing, I'm going to go catching. That's not always possible. But something that you mentioned at the outset, and we get a chance to chat with that, the conservation effort on many of the anglers, not just only through the angling club, but even a lot of the members, whether they're those who take out charters, but even on a personal level. You go out there and have seen it firsthand. Oh, this little dolphin, I think that little dolphin is 18 pounds. I mean, he could be a good little fry up. No, put him back, And we've seen that increasing. Is that perhaps part of the initiative of the angling club as well?
Well, we're focused on responsible angling practices and conservation. So we have minimum weights on all of the species.
Right.
So for this particular tournament, the minimum weight for the tuna is 20 pounds, and it's 15 pounds for the wahoo and the dolphin. Yeah. And it's 587 for the blue marlin. So the blue marlin is a release only unless it's a potential record. We don't encourage anyone to harvest any unless they're sure it's going to break their existing record.
Yeah.
And also, swordfish is one of the eligible species in the tournament that you can harvest. The minimum length on the swordfish is 48 inches. But the tournament is extremely affordable. That's what I want to stress. I mean, entry fee to the tournament is only $500 US, and that makes you eligible for over $300,000 in cash and prizes. There's optional jackpots that you can buy into to enhance your winnings, but base entry, anybody with a boat that's a seaworthy craft, whether it's 18 feet, whether it's 80 feet, they can come and participate. We have a small boat category for boats 26 feet and under. And sorry, I had a slip of the tongue just now. The minimum weight on the yellowfin is 30 pounds, but on the dolphin and the wahoo, it's 15. So back to the conservation aspect of it, where we promote folks that if you catch a fish, you're not it's not a good size for table fare, and it definitely isn't going to qualify for any prizes, release it back to the environment so it can grow.
Yeah, man. And I've seen that where a lot of the guys, not just doing tournaments, just out, they go out for the weekend, they go for the day to fish. If that fish is in a size that they think is, like I said, like your phrase, table fare, they'll throw it back. They're looking for, and that's a sort of mindset that we're starting to develop within our people.
It's sustainability. I mean, just this Easter weekend while fishing with my son, 20 to 30 snappers, right, that he's just catching and releasing.
Yeah.
He at 8 years old, he's already got that instilled in him. You can't keep them all. We need to put some back so that they continue to grow, they get bigger.
Yeah, man.
And we see that throughout the club with my peers that grew up in the club with me as kids, growing up through the club, that are now parents, and we have our own kids that are participating. We're passing that down on to them.
That's it, man. I've seen it in my father, and we pass it on. And at some point in time, it becomes the norm without legislation, without anything, But when we come back, let's talk more about the upcoming tournament. Share with us again the dates, as you shared the registration, and then I always look forward to the kickoff, but the prize given in particular. President, Franklin, together with VP Josh, will tell us more about the upcoming international fishing tournament. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
I've got something Puritan Cleaners Easter Special through April 24th. 17% off gents and ladies apparel on prepay orders of $20 and up. Take 10% off wedding dresses, gowns, and household items on prepay as usual. Puritan Cleaners, a center for all your dry cleaning and laundry needs, including wearing apparel. Cash in on these discounts at all 3 stores. Savannah Countryside, 946-1884, Elgin Avenue, 949-2452, and Eastern Avenue Drive-Thru, Rain or Shine, 949-7104. The management and staff of Puritan Cleaners would like to wish everyone a safe and blessed Easter. Puritan Cleaners, you feel good when you look good.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Did you know that since day one, government has insisted on strategies for the cruise berthing facility that are both fiscally and environmentally responsible? No damage to 7 Mile Beach, no upland development, no government loans or guarantees.
Looking forward, looking bright.
Learn more and spread the word.
Support our port, support our tourism.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon, and thanks for sharing with us. And I trust that you had not only a very restful, peaceful, but blessed and enjoyable Easter. And it's a pleasure to sit here to talk about the International Fishing Tournament with the president of the Cayman Islands Angling Club, Mr. Franklin Thompson, together with VP Josh Ebanks. And as he shared with us, Thursday through Sunday, the 2nd through the 5th of May, it's when the tournament gets underway. And a lot of people are excited. I mean, I don't have my hooks or lines sharpened, but I'll hear about it from this end. But go through, man, take us, because there's a lot that not only goes into the organization and the logistics, the safety, but so much more. So eager to hear more from you, Mr. President.
So thanks, Dwayne. And just to give a recap, last year we had 58 boats. That's 58 individual boats competing in the tournament. There were over 231 anglers, and those stats continue to grow slowly, but they grow year on year. So this year we're catering for over 60. We're hoping to attract over 60 boats this year. And we have folks that have this event in their calendar from, last year.
The year before.
Waiting to come back down. Whether they have property on the island and have their own boat, or whether they just fly down and fish with friends, or they charter one of the local charter boats. So the tournament brings a lot of activity to the island, and a lot of commerce to the local merchants as well. We have visiting judges that come in to help us with the tournament, to ensure that the tournament is run in accordance with IGFA rules and all the rules are upheld. We have a TV crew coming down to film the tournament and to participate as well. All that money goes into the local economy, renting cars, they're eating at the restaurants, and then all the fuel that has to go to be sold to supply these boats for the 4 days of fishing. Although we do have small boats in there, we have some large boats that when they fill up, you're talking 1,500 gallons of diesel. So it's a good help. The tournament itself helps the economy. But starting with the activities for this year, we're going to start off at Margaritaville for the registration, Margaritaville Hotel on West Bay Road. And simultaneously, we're going to run a registration in Cayman Brack at the Captain's Table restaurant. The times for the registration are 6 to 9 p.m., and that's on Tuesday, the 30th of April. What really kicks the tournament off is the Bimini Start from Hogstye Bay in Grand Cayman and the Southside Channel in Cayman Brack. And this is the Seco Bimini Start. Seco is one of our longest standing sponsors. We'd like to say a great big thank you to the Foster family for sticking by us since the 80s. It's quite a sight to behold in Georgetown Harbour. You watch 40 plus boats congregate there. The Minister of Tourism typically comes out and gives an address on the radio. I'll give a short welcome to all the boats competing. Harbour Patrol will fire a flare, and you got 40 boats in a shotgun start, heading different directions to get the fishing started, and that's all at 7:30 a.m. for those folks that want to come out and enjoy a little breakfast and watch the Bimini start. Paradise Restaurant will open a bit early that morning. I believe they're opening at 7, and they'll be serving breakfast. So if you want to enjoy the Bimini, you can come on out. Or, if you're dropping your kids to school and you want to get a little earlier start that morning, you can just park along the sidewalk in the harbour and watch it. It's great to see the kids out there. And you were referencing earlier about skipping school last year. I actually let my son skip school on Thursday so that he could participate in the Bimini Start and fish with us. And not to get too far off of the schedule, but as I said earlier, it's a family-friendly event. Josh fished with me last year, and even though my son was only 7, he was still a part of the team. When we got the marlin boat side, that we're getting a video of it for the legal release, and he's there with his iPad. He's the one giving these guys instructions. Hold the card up. I can't see the fish and the card together. So regardless of what age the kids are, take them out on a boat, make them participate. They're an integral part of the team. I mean, we had other cameras rolling as well as backup, but the experience that it was for him to go down to the weigh station, to talk to the judges, to give them his iPad, to show them the video, right, made him feel that he was cemented as a part of the team and a valued team member.
Yeah, invaluable, man.
So to just get back to the schedule, then each day fishing will begin at 6 in the morning and goes until 4:30 in the afternoon, except for that Thursday morning, the Bimini Start. Fishing will commence after the Bimini Start. Weigh-ins are going to be at the Georgetown Yacht Club. Folks can come out there to see the weigh-ins every afternoon from 4:30 to 6:30, and then we're going to have some other festivities going on after the weigh station closes to keep that festive event going on. We're also looking to add some activities for the kids, and again, it's an all-inclusive, family-friendly event. The yacht club has great food on sale, and for those folks that want to purchase some fresh fish, they can purchase the fish from the local anglers when they come shore, and of course after they've weighed it for their shot at a prize.
Yeah, after. Don't cut it.
And then to wrap up the event, we're going to have the awards banquet at the Westin Hotel in the Governor's Ballroom down there. We've worked with them previously. It's a great venue. The food is amazing, and it's a good evening. As I was showing you earlier, it's a shame that we're on radio and not on TV, but I showed you the prize list from last year. Yeah. I got 5 pages of prizes here to go through on that night, to hand out. Yeah. And the prizes cover junior angler prizes, first and second place, lady angler prizes for the heaviest fish. Then we have lady angler prizes for the most releases. It's a very comprehensive prize list that we have here. So spend $500, get your friends together, take a shot at winning over
US, right? 500
US, 400 CI. Take a shot at winning the over $300,000 in cash and prizes that we have up for grabs.
And if I can add into, I just want to say that's what makes this tournament, to many, one of the most popular tournament, just because of the amount of prizes that we have. It's not just first, second, and third heaviest for each species, but there's prizes for the kids and females, as Franklin has mentioned. But there are also prizes for heaviest fish each day. There are prizes for the heaviest fish in Grand Cayman waters, heaviest fish in Cayman Brac waters. There's prizes for the heaviest fish caught in the Bimini Start, if there's a boat that participated in the Bimini Start. There's a prize for the smallest eligible fish. There are also memorial awards that you can win as well. There's the Ormond Whitaker Memorial, Captain Mitchell Ebanks, Ronald Martin, William Remall, Lorna Mitchell, Captain Lawford Tatum. We also have a Grand Slam, but a Super Grand Slam award, which was recently introduced, which includes the catch of a swordfish, along with a marlin, a yellowfin tuna, wahoo, and a dolphin. There's so many prizes in there. There's overseas angler prizes that you can win as well. So it caters not just to the hardcore repetitive fishermen, but for the kids, for the females, for the overseas anglers, for the vast majority of anglers that take part. There's prizes for everyone in there. So I just wanted to emphasize on that part.
So in addition to that base entry of $500 US and over $300,000 in cash and prizes that you're eligible to win, you can buy into optional jackpots. So we run a meat pot that you can buy into per species for the wahoo, the dolphin, and the yellowfin tuna. That's a $500 buy-in as well. And then depending on the pot is taken, the full pot is taken and divided in 4 for each of the 4 days, and then for each day, the person or the people in the pot with the heaviest of each species gets 2/3 of the daily pot, and the second heaviest gets 1/3 of the daily pot. So you can win prize money by not getting the heaviest fish overall. You can just get the heaviest one for that day in that particular species. A lot of guys enter the meat pots because it's more chances at winning. And we also have the billfish release jackpot, which this year the entry fee is only $3,500 US. In previous years it was $5,000. This year the entry fee for the billfish release jackpot is $3,500 US. We're hoping that will encourage more boats to participate. Last year the payout in the billfish release jackpot was $75,000. And we're hoping by lowering the entry fee that we will attract more boats and we'll be able to drive the prize, the total prize purse higher.
This is it, man. And then as you shared, the idea, boats can still register. I mean, even though the tournament is literally just days away. I'm talking about starting registration on the next week. Was it Tuesday?
Next Tuesday. And if you want to register online ahead of time to save time on the registration night, you can go to our website, www.fishcayman.com, and there's a link there that carries you to the tournament management page, or you can go directly to the tournament management page, just simply results.fishcayman.com. On the tournament management page, we have a list of the schedule of events, we have the rules, we have a flyer, anything, and the prize list. Anything you want to know about the tournament can be found on that tournament manager page. And even for real-time updates throughout the day while our teams are out fishing, when they call control and they call in a catch, hey control, this is Dwayne, I got a yellowfin tuna on board. Control enters that. Obviously they can't enter the weight, but we'll know that the boat that Dwayne is on now has a yellowfin tuna.
Yep. Right. Trust me, boy, if I call in, the weight not be entered on. No, I'm just kidding. No, but it is fun, even if you get to tag along sometimes. But as you shared, $500 US is up to what, maximum 4 anglers still?
No, there's no restriction.
No restriction.
So the $500 allows you up to 4 anglers.
Yeah.
If you want to add an additional angler, you just have to pay an additional entry fee.
Yeah.
But the 500, most teams typically run 4, unless there are some that carry more. But as I was saying earlier, we have folks coming from all over the U.S. and different parts of the world to come and fish. Some years back, we had a gentleman that was here 3 years in a row from Serbia coming to participate in the tournament. The owner of Canyon Reels in New Jersey, he's been our reel sponsor for a couple of years. He's been fishing with us the last few years. He's coming down to fish with us again. So the tournament does attract folks from overseas. It does inject money into the local economy, and it also the local fishermen appreciate it as well.
Indeed, man. Well, gents, when we come back from the break, tell us more about it. Of course, these events don't happen unless you have some good sponsors and other participants, but go through some more information because it's fun, and I think my favorite part was the prize giving on the night. Because there was no boats rocking, but there was a lot of eating, so that was a good time. We can tell us about that too when we come back. We'll continue talking about the upcoming International Fishing Tournament. Please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Brand Source is putting a spin on spring cleaning with 20% off all washers and dryers from GE, Samsung, LG, and Frigidaire. Take a load off by making laundry easier, quicker, and energy efficient with 20% off all washers and dryers. Save now on laundry appliances from GE, Samsung, LG, and Frigidaire. Brand Source Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Call 623-5000. Sale ends this Saturday. Tune in Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. Exclusive. Radio Cayman's Super Jam Show, the #1 drive time entertainment show on your radio, featuring Will Sinatra. Enjoy a mix of pop, hip-hop, dancehall, and soca.
The Super Jam Show is fueled by the proud sponsorship of Fitness Plus and Train with Dre.
Get top-rated personal training or build your very own home or office gym today.
Business owners, managers, and marketers interested in learning how digital and social media marketing can help grow your business? Join Yellow Media Group Monday, May 27th at Yellow Digicon and unleash your company's digital potential. Learn from international digital marketing and social media experts, including speakers from Google and Matchcraft, plus a Fortune 500 digital marketing strategist. Complimentary registration for Yellow Media Group customers. Register now at digiconcayman.com or findyellow.com. Presented by Yellow Media Group in partnership with Google.
Save time, don't stand in line. You can apply for or renew your trade and business license online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just visit dci.gov.ky and click on the Trade and Business Online application link. Now, you don't need to stand in line, take time out of your busy schedule, or try to find parking. You can apply for your trade and business license online. Visit dci.gov.ky today and save time for running your business.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for joining us in the studio as we talk about the International Fishing Tournament. We have the president of the Cayman Islands Angling Club, Mr. Franklin Thomason, together with his VP, Josh Ebanks. And as you shared, Mr. President, May the 2nd through the 5th, all lines in the water, we're fishing. All right, well, I won't request a salmon, but if you get snappers, nobody want them, you can bring them my way. Registration, just for those who are joining us.
So a quick recap. Fishing days are May 2nd to the 5th. Entry fee to the tournament is $500 US, and that qualifies you for over $300,000 US in cash and prizes. $100,000 to the angler breaking the Cayman Islands Blue Marlin record. $50,000 to the angler breaking either the wahoo, the yellowfin tuna, or the dolphin Cayman Islands record. So registration is going to be on the 30th of April from 6 to 9 p.m. It's going to run at the Captain's Table in Cayman Brac and at the Margaritaville Hotel here in Grand Cayman. The Seco Bimini Start takes place in Georgetown Harbour on Thursday, May the 2nd at 7:30 in the morning. Make sure you come by and watch the Bimini Start. And then for the remainder of the days, the fishing hours are 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. with the weigh-ins at the Georgetown Yacht Club from 4:30 to 6:30 every afternoon. But without, as you mentioned before the break, Dwayne, without the sponsors, we wouldn't be able to put this on. And we'd like to just give a quick rundown of the sponsors, particularly the Ministry and the Department of Tourism for their ongoing support. They support a lot of our initiatives, not just with the International Fishing Tournament, but with all the television shows that we film as well. We'd also like to thank Cayman Airways. They've been a long-time partner of the Angling Club. We cannot forget the home of the event, which is the Barcadere Marina and the Georgetown Yacht Club. A lot of good food on sale out there and a lot of good facilities there at the marina. The Seco Avis, we again want to say a big thank you to the Foster family for their decades of support. We sincerely appreciate having them on board. Then we have Canyon Reels as the official reel sponsor of the tournament. They've been with us for a couple of years. Kirk Freeport, we can't forget them. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, but they're going to be debuting a new product at the prize giving on May the 7th. A new line of watch that they're promoting. So I want to say a great big thank you to Kirk Freeport, as well as the Kirk Group, Kirk Beverages, for supplying the sodas that we give away to all of the registered boats, and Kirk Marine. I want to say a big thank you to Mac Alpine, a long-time sponsor. Cayman National, need to say a great big thank you to Cayman National, one of our gold sponsors. Cayman Islands Brewery, they've been with us for a couple of years, and they're giving out a case of beer to each boat that registers. Also want to mention Automotive Art as a sponsor, Yamaha. Harbour House Marina, been with us for a long time, greatly appreciate the support from the Briggs family. Brasserie Purveyors and Cayman Swordfish Challenge, like to say a great big thank you to the Flowers family for their long time support. We have West Indies Brokers and Nautical Boat Services, again another long term sponsor, like to say thanks to them. CUC, we'd like to say great big thanks to Caribbean Utilities for their support. The Tomlinson Family Group, their group of companies, RBC Rehab and Physiotherapy, Tomlinson Furniture, and Beyond Basics Day Spa. Say big thank you to Popeyes for their support. Cayman Spirits Company, Seven Fathoms Rum, Scott's Marine, the Cayman First, another gold sponsor. I'd like to say great big thank you to them. Burger King, home of the Whopper. We just closed down the BK Big Fish Tournament, and Burger King are back on board with us, supporting another event. They're another long-term sponsor. I'd like to say thanks to Island Paving, to Watler's Metal Products, the Guy Harvey Ocean Foundation. Guy Harvey is the title artist on the official tournament magazine on the shirts. It's a pleasure partnering with them, and also on the conservation aspect that we're going to be tagging dolphin as part of the dolphin research program that they're associated with. So any undersized dolphin, they'll be tagged, details recorded and sent on to the scientists to have it researched when they're recaptured. And again, a great big thank you to the Ministry and the Department of Tourism for their ongoing support of not just the International Fishing Tournament, but all of the initiatives that the Cayman Islands Angling Club leads.
It's something that I always, look at when we have events like this. It's not just the fishing, the fun, the family-oriented environment, the aspect of the finances as we bring money into the economy, and as you shared, Mr. President, the notion that some of these boats, fueling up, 1,200 gallons, it's a few dollars as well. And that's why these days when the fellas say you want to go fishing, you buy gas. I say no, I bring ice. That I know is a lot less. But for some, Josh, that marine engineer, that potential naval architect, that student, that son, that daughter is out fishing with the parent, may look at another aspect of potential careers, whether they're going to get into yacht design, whether they're going to be looking at how can I make this hull that much more efficient, this engine that much more, effective. It's something to consider, Josh.
Yep, that's a good point, Dwayne. And I'll be honest with you, as from a kid's perspective and growing up through just the island happenings and fishing and sports and so forth, but getting involved with fishing on a lot higher level. First it was fishing from the shoreline, and then meeting friends who their dads had boats and getting more interested in it. Then you start to realize what the bigger picture of fishing is like, and you either you get a knack for the fishing, or you get a knack for engines, or you get a knack for electronics. And as a kid you start to realize all of these other opportunities that just the fishing environment brings out. And for myself, I've loved the sport. I'm an avid fisherman. It's a big hobby of mine. But I've also grown, just from the type of boat I had. I would call myself an intermediate, but a very, very good marine mechanic. I do all of my engine work myself. I've learned my engine inside out. And, for another young person growing up, may take that opportunity and turn it into a career.
Yep.
And he may be the one to open up his new shop and be a young, successful Caymanian. So the opportunity is there, and it's a great opportunity for anyone who's involved. The experiences are memorable. it's an experience that you get that is unforgettable. Like you said, you know, a bad day on the water beats a good day at work.
I can hear my boss is going, you think so, huh?
There's just something about being out there.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
For the nature people, I've seen whales, I've seen dolphins, I've seen drifts, ships, cargo ships, oil ships. There's just so much that the fishing environment has to offer that we love supporting.
And the notion to it as you get to it, you know, and specifically speaking to parents, because we want our children to be a success, and we have a definition in our minds what this is. But if you look at just going fishing, what I can, from the career perspective, potential marine biologist or scientist, you know, that other thing, the idea of conservation. I mean, I saw pilot whales right off the reef and came on. You know, pilot whales. And for some of you see that often. I mean, I heard Josh was riding a few one time, but that's a different story. But Mr. Ebanks, you were sharing.
So and what we've recently offered, I think it was last year when we first kicked it off, but we have a video competition. So we encourage the teams and anglers to take videos of just their fishing experience throughout the tournament, whether it's catching fish or the dolphins that you find or releasing marlin, whatever it is. We promote filming videos and submitting them to the angling club. And at the end of the tournament, we try to compile that into one big video. But we also offer a prize for the best video, and that winner of that prize gets is it still seen from last year? We have a US $300 prize for the best video that was filmed during the tournament, and that will be given out as well on the night of the prize giving. So it caters to the average avid photographer as well.
I was thinking, Franklin, sort of cut you, but that parent who looking to introduce that child, who may be gaming in that world of social media, bring them on board, you know, have them chum the waters and maybe win the prize, my friend.
Yeah, but so that comes back to what you were saying earlier about the different career opportunities that are available, not just from people going fishing and selling the fish for a living, but videographers. I mean, we work with them with all the television shows, writers writing magazine articles, you know. There's a lot of things that fishing can introduce you to. There are a lot of career options available out there, and these are the kind of things that we try to push the kids towards now. The days of simply going fishing as a means of survival are behind us, and we're using technology as best as possible to promote what we're doing. So sorry, I know we're running out of time now, but I just want to encourage everybody to visit the website, results.fishcayman.com, or the main website, just www.fishcayman.com. All of the information on the tournament is there, has all the rules, the schedule of events, list of the prizes. Check it out. Come spend 4 great days fishing on the water with us, you know. I mean, the fishing around the island is good. $500 US, get together with 3 other buddies, split that up, you know, split the cost of the fuel, and get your vacation days approved. Let's go fishing. We got a shot at over $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs.
All right, the 2nd through the 5th of May. And gents, not only safe fishing, but enjoy it. And now I want to hear a lot of the tales, some of the truth too.
So Dwayne, I have a question for you. I would like to say, I think you got more than enough information now on this fishing tournament coming up. Can we expect to see you on a boat fishing?
I can commit to you right now that you can expect to see me when my brothers push off. I can be ready when they come back. I check on them. That voyage in between, if Norma approves the day off, I might come watch them.
Come down by the way station and run.
That's where I know, all jokes aside, I always used to enjoy coming in on the way down. Sometimes I'll take a late lunch just to get down by the way station when the boat's coming in. And to hear, you know, well.
So we'd like to encourage the listening public to join us at the Georgetown Yacht Club every evening from 4:30 to 6 to see what the guys have caught that day.
Yeah, man. It's fun, and to watch the evolution of how the fish are. I don't want to use the word preserve, but the little things, the strategies the guys do to maintain the weight. You know, back then you put the boat in, you put it in the fish box, you kept it on the deck, you iced it down. Now they got fish bags packed with ice. Little things that help to keep the quality of the meat, but also to ensure that they can get every extra ounce. It's fun, man. It's fun.
We can't give you all those secrets now, though.
If I know them, they're not secret. Trust me. Those are probably the simplest of things, right? But it's fun, man. And I wish not only for the island and the economy's promotion, but for the fishing, for you guys to continue to enjoy it. And tight lines stay, as they say, right?
Thanks for having us.
Going to pause and take a break. Call Susan and complain if you want. If not, call me afterwards and you can complain. I'll listen. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio K-Man. Radio K-Man's newsroom. These are the biggest stories right now.
One man is in custody following a serious domestic incident in Georgetown. Just after 5:30 p.m. on Monday, police got a call out to a residence in Rock Hole, Georgetown, where a man had cut two women known to him with a knife and was holding a baby. Police report a trained police negotiator was deployed to the scene, and when they arrived, the women were outside the home and the man was on the porch of the home with the baby, holding a knife and threatening harm to the baby if police approached. Police say they attempted to negotiate the release of the child for a period of time and ultimately deployed tasers to subdue the man. The women and the baby were taken to the hospital and treated for minor physical injuries. The man was arrested on suspicion of making threats to kill, assault, and abduction, and also seen by a doctor. He is currently in police custody. In news elsewhere, former Vice President Joe Biden will launch his 2020 presidential campaign on Thursday, according to a person familiar with his plans. The 76-year-old Democrat is scheduled to face voters in Pittsburgh on Monday. The person said, speaking on the condition of anonymity to disclose Biden's decision answers the final major question of the early 2020 Democratic primary season, which now features more than 20 candidates. Given his high profile in U.S. politics, he will enter the race as a front-runner. 2 lawsuits have been filed against an Illinois man whose son is accused of killing 4 people and injuring 3 others. The lawsuits were filed in Tazewell County on Monday, the anniversary of the shooting, against Jeffrey Rainking on behalf of a woman who was injured and another whose daughter was killed. The Journal-Star reports that the lawsuits state Travis Rainking used a gun in the Waffle House attack that his father gave him after he was released from a hospital's mental health unit in violation of state law. Those are your latest updates here on Radio K-Man. I'm Shanta Gallego.
Radio K-Man, the voice of the Cayman Islands. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiokman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio K-Man is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio K-Man.
Attention accounting service providers. According to the Anti-Money Laundering and Counter-Terrorist Financing Regulations, all firms providing accounting services, including but not limited to bookkeeping, payroll, accounts preparation, or tax advice, are required to register with the Cayman Islands Institute of Professional Accountants by May 30th. Free workshops will be provided on May 3rd, 10th, and 17th. For more information, call 749-3360. Email admin@ciipa.ky or visit ciipa.ky.
The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Cayman Medical Supplies, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner. Cayman Medical Supplies is located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center. Telephone 949-6211.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a truly a great honor and pleasure to have just the good company earlier of Franklin Thompson as president of the Angling Club, together with Josh Ebanks, his VP. And as they shared the International Fishing Tournament, it is the 22nd, upcoming on the May 2nd through the 5th. So if you're interested, get involved. Fishing is fun, and good way to take out your family. I laugh about it, but my brothers would say, boy, it's no laughing matter. It's good fun. I don't get to go out there. Some of us will be relieved. But it is a wonderful opportunity. And it's not just the fishing. It's not just the idea of conservation, sustainability, the environmental awareness. It's the economics behind it for the economy, but as well as the potential careers that some may have when they look at what it is. It doesn't take much to look just read in this economy some very famous names, whether through their marketing and other business ventures, they're leveraging their skill sets, tying their names to different, sort of business endeavors. Obviously, they're not only making some good chum, they're making quite well. So there's opportunities. Don't fool yourselves. 8949-8037, 1-800-534-8255. Let's have some open line. Call and share your thoughts with us. And I was thinking, it's Easter. There are 2 times a year that I think are spectacular in and of themselves for what they are, Easter and Christmas. And there are 2 times of the year where I think as a country we somewhat, sadly, we don't do it as much as we probably should, or as some of us think we would like to. We unwind, we rest, we relax, we get rejuvenated, we spend time with our families, and we see it. But a couple of interesting conversations, honestly, when you think about it, when you say, it's Easter Monday, you kind of rested up, you're ready to come back to work on Tuesday. When Tuesday rolls around, you probably still feel like your mind and your body and your brain is still in the vacation mode. I had a couple of earlier conversations with a few people who were sharing that as we look at Easter and what it is, and not just the somber nature of Good Friday, not only for those who are very religious, even some of us who may not have necessarily had the early upbringing and the exposure, that training, still appreciate the reverence that the wider community holds for the day. And as we go through and Sunday comes around, the element of sort of jubilant celebration. A couple of things struck me as I was chatting with the individuals earlier. They said you had this sort of, as they've seen it unfold, a Friday that is somewhat serene, a Saturday that is hectic, Sunday that is jubilant, and then a Monday that is a bit of a fog and a haze. But a few have shared, are we in a position where as a society continues to evolve, the question that was posed, are we losing sight of the historical significance, the importance of the sort of the cultural norms, and as we increasingly have more and more commercial activities over the Easter sort of long weekend, that we're failing. One individual asked the question, has our practice, either through the regulatory authorities and the licensing regime, allowing the almost increasing, incessant commercialization of not just the Easter weekend and the celebrations, are we at risk of not just undermining the cultural ethos, but are we at risk of causing our people to not only rest and relax and, in my word, sort of get refreshed? Are we losing sight of what, and how important it is for a country and its people to unwind and to be able to get back to a presence where come Monday? Now, 2 things. Some individuals have shared that even though yesterday was a public holiday in our jurisdiction, it wasn't in many, and they were required, to work as it was on any other day. Not only because it's, Easter Monday that he felt, well, that's a bit unfortunate. Other public holidays that are holidays here, but are not holidays in some of their other sort of jurisdictions that they have clients, they were to work. The fellow said, no, they're working on the Cayman public holiday, but the holidays that are holidays in some of those other jurisdictions, whether they're Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday, that are not holidays here, they had to work then too. And wondering to what extent are we trying to have cake and everything at one time and still enjoy it without being, fully aware of what is happening. Now, beyond that, another question was asked, are we even mindful of the potential challenges that this may be having for not just our people, but what it could mean in the future when we are trying to attract some of the best talent to our shores when they come in? And he found that, like many, after you get to a certain stage in life, maybe it's a certain financial position, maybe it's a certain age, you start to value things other than just a paycheck. And I shared recently, they were interviewing, what the organization thought was, not just a bright, ambitious young lady, but someone that, was heavily sought after, by competing jurisdictions. And the things that Cayman lacked in terms of theater and all other cultural things, as some have said, perhaps presents us not as attractive, weren't so much. The jurisdiction's sort of technology and its infrastructure, its ability to hop a plane and get to Europe in relatively short order compared to other places. But one of the challenges that this person looked around and thought, there's a great emphasis, and as much as we may work all the time, we may be able to work increasingly, from other remote locations, not necessarily on site. He felt that her decision to accept a competing offer may have had to do with the belief, the perception that we sort of present to people. Oh, this is a family-friendly jurisdiction. There is this great degree of safety and camaraderie, and people are on an island, they're relaxing, they're enjoying it. But for many, they spend a whole lot of that 24-hour period physically working, and not just working, sitting on the beach somewhere or resting in a hammock. It's as if they're in these big metropolitan areas. And as he was looking at the Easter weekend, he found, but for one day, the other 3 days, that's pretty much what he was expected to do. Now, you would probably say, well, if you're working in the emergency services, you're a police or you're fire, or you're working within the health services, then yes, you probably shift and you have to work then. But should it always be that way? And when we see other people who are in the financial sector or the hospitality sector, they're likewise working. Well, share with us as you weigh in. 949-8037, 949-6990. We offer you the WhatsApp, 925-3261. And likewise, if you choose and you want to, Flo still has a toll-free number that comes into the studio. All numbers ring, answered by the wonderful voice of Susan, 1-800-534-8255. Call and share your thoughts with us. And it's amazing to see how many of our people are actively and increasingly becoming not just informed, but engaged in what is happening in our society. And as they share their thoughts with us, sometimes you wonder to what extent we are seeing an evolving populace that is cognizant many times of things that, as they hit the mainstream media, has already become, as they say, stale news, because so many of our people know. Now, with that in mind, this idea that there's much rumor and speculation, conjecture, innuendo often. Well, we're not speaking of that. We're talking of the notion that people are adequately informed. One individual was sharing this morning that there was particular things that are being sort of bantered about relative to developments, relative to projects, maybe considerations of government amending legislation or introducing certain policies, or maybe a private sector entity is considering expanding or introducing a new product or the like. Now, some of these things may never, come to light. I mean, not come to light until after the thing has transpired. And in the past, he said, there was this rumor, this mile road that existed, and people would say, oh, well, where there's smoke, there's fire. But he said, is there a way that we can become better informed? Not just as some have, they online somewhere and there's a posting and they hear a little tidbit, but increasing opportunities to network, the associations that we become part of. And as more and more people start to appreciate the need to not only share the information, but for a public to be involved and informed. He was saying that in light of the idea that increasingly many are saying, well, we should have a referendum on this, a referendum on that. In and of itself, it sounds good. But to effectively, participate in a referendum are we sufficiently informed about what this thing that we would be expecting to vote on? He said, for instance, if we have a referendum on legalizing, cannabis, how many of us would be able to go and make a vote, yes or no, knowing that, one, this is what we're voting on, this is what the impact and implication would be. Secondly, how many people would be willing to drive it? Is it just to decriminalize and allow the personal consumption? Would we limit this whole use to maybe the medicinal aspect of it and have it, for the most part, regulated in such a way that we're driving more money in the economy by making it safer? And then the notion of how the question would be not just formulated, but who would be formulating the question. Should that be addressed as well? And he used that as an example to share that in that issue there are some who would like to know that just like they can legalize some alcoholic drink or a tobacco product, if they consume it, within this sort of set accepted legal parameters, it's okay. They would want the same for cannabis. But is that sufficient? Is that enough? Is that what we're asking? Or is it that those are talking about it want it on that hand, as opposed to others who were saying, let's look at it from the whole perspective of, the medical value, if any, that this thing has, and how do we extract that, make sure that it's beneficial to the people who need it and not out of desperation causing people to have a false sense of hope? Or is it that there are some who are saying, well, this particular jurisdiction has had a windfall of millions or tens of millions or hundreds of millions or whatever the sum is? Could we make that as part of our potential taxable revenues for the country to support education and healthcare, to support infrastructure development, to help to pay for the running of our government? Let's go to our phones. Good afternoon and welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Good afternoon, Sterling. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, man. I was just, hope you don't mind when another man thinks of you. I was just thinking of you earlier.
I hope you had a good Easter.
It was. And to you, man. Likewise.
I just want to weigh in on one quick point, and I think that when we look at things that fundamentally affect us, we need to prioritize those things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I see that, the government, and not only this government, we make all of these leaps and efforts to change things to make it convenient for a certain pocket of people. We're looking at the situation now with the same-sex unions and the legalizing. There's an ongoing talk about legalizing marijuana from in the 70s. This didn't just happen today, but again, we're discussing all of these conveniences for different areas of our society, when we're not focusing on the one thing that is common to all of us that creates the biggest inconvenience, which is the cost of living.
Right.
And if the government had put even a small percentage of that emphasis that they put on every other thing that upsets the minority in this country, we may be on the right track in order to try to remedy some of the issues that we have with the cost of living. Because a lot of the key things that drives up the cost of living are very simple and easy to deal with. It's just that the political willpower has been handcuffed and shackled by the power of the lobbyists is the greatest hindrance to creating a sustainable environment for Caymanians. So when we look at the fuel industry and we look at all of those who benefit from, then it's hard for anyone to not understand the reason why there's been very little done in order to regulate that industry, to ensure that the Caymanian people and all who come to our shores are being treated fairly at the pumps and at the grocery stores, because everything that we consume in the Cayman Islands has a fuel factor attached to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I hear all this talk, and they're all valid in their own respect, but until we can address the issues that are affecting all of us, no matter what demographics you're from, no matter what color you are, no matter you're rich or poor, no matter what your sexual preferences are and what your social behaviors are, the one thing that we all share in common is that we consume the things by compulsory, which is energy and food. And those are the that are not regulated, and those are the things that drive up the cost of living and creating a lot of the social issues that we have in our society today.
But the lack of regulation is one hand, but there are those who say that there's limited or little, sometimes to no enforcement of some of the things that we do have laws for.
Well, the thing is that it would be a fruitless journey to enforce laws that don't create the proper impact, or for lack of a better term, the right impact that is needed in order to create a sustainable environment. Because I can tell you right now, Sterling, a lot of the policies and legislation that are in place right now that once gave Caymanians an opportunity to do anything, they're all outdated. They're not working in the best interest of the Caymanian people. We have seen grandiose effort to make it easy for people to come to our shores and attain status and residency and get jobs here so that they can live a good life and live the Caymanian dream, while on the same hand, almost simultaneously, we're creating an impossible environment for our local people. You understand? Mm-hmm. We've created a elitist society. We got now where, if you look at our real estate industry, Sterling, a lot of the homes that are being sold now are $1 million homes. The middle class homes are all foreclosed on. And the new residents that we have are purchasing these properties and using it as a mechanism to get the points necessary to be permanent residences on our island. I don't have an issue with any of those things, you know. I'm just saying that in the meantime, or at the same time, we should be looking out for the Caymanian people just as much as we're looking out for everybody else. The problem is, sorry, go ahead.
No. As I listened to you, I was reflecting on a question that was posed by someone that, to maybe put it nicely in a sense, all of us would probably know and look at and respect, you know, in a way that sometimes we wish these people would ask these questions, make these comments more publicly, because they may be heard. Yeah. A few people have asked, you know, do we have this, whether it's a deliberate or whether it's just an unfortunate sort of coincidences where different people, whether in the legal real estate or whether in the financial sector, their actions are helping some people to, as you mentioned, get the benefits of, you know, the foreclosures, and is it, as you shared, you know, to benefit those who may be able to get the extra points for their PR and the like.
You know, Sterling, what really bothers me most of all is that right now our premier is currently off island overseas, and I don't know what the agenda is, but I can assure you it's not to fix the problem for poor people. I know that for a fact. Okay, the reality is that when we have all of these announcements and all of these updates from the government saying how great the economy is and how every industry is booming, we love that. Keep us updated, but tell us what you're doing in order to eliminate the percentage growing at the needs assessment unit. Tell us what you're doing in order to ensure that banks are not taking advantage with predatory loans on individuals who now can't sustain their bills simply because 15 years ago they may have qualified because the cost of living was a lot different, and they may have qualified then, and then now because of the constant growth of cost of living has now outpaced their ability to meet their obligations. And we see people falling through the cracks because it's not because they're not working, it's not because they're living above their means, it's because the government has failed. They have failed miserably on ensuring that the people of these islands are not being taken advantage of. And people can't tell me that they can justify selling a gallon of milk for $8 sterling. And now people don't realize at the pumps the gas is almost at $5 CI. And we still having record lows on oil per barrel. Why is this? You know why this is? Because we have governments who have systematically and consistently failed to put in the proper legislation that ensure that direct pass-through cost at the utility company of fuel is a fair cost and one that Caymanians can sustain, and at the pumps, because people don't realize the amount of energy that is being consumed in this island on a daily basis, 24 hours. Yes, years gone by before we had this increasing amount of cars on the road, you could argue that CUC was the largest burner of fuels. Now that we have this massive influx of cars and everybody getting a license, I would beg to say if we did a survey that we would see that at the pump gas is on par with the electricity companies' burn ratio. I can almost guarantee you it, or it might even be a lot more, which then tells you that here is a problem. Here are the three key points in the issue. Fuel has an attachment to our food, and fuel has an attachment to our energy. And in order for us to pay for our energy and our food, we have to be able to be mobile, which is at the pumps. So there are three essential areas that we can fix immediately if the government would just stop having their self-serving reasons for not addressing the real issues in this country, because those things that are not being fixed are some of the reasons why we're having a lot of social issues. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Not having proper mechanisms in place to extract the right amount of funds from our key pillars in order to create a sovereignty that goes into a social welfare net that ensures that we got proper health care, proper education, and all the different things that are essential to the survival of life. The government just sit back and let these institutions run however they want, write their own policies, their own regulations. I mean, we've seen it for many, many years where these institutions make us feel as if, and they victimize us. I call it bullying, because the last time that I heard a real conversation about putting certain sanctions in place in order to extract money from these institutions, they called it, oh, well, it wasn't going to be a desirable destination for us to do business, so therefore we pull and we'll leave. And that was over 30 years ago. But yet they're still here. Still, with all of the additional stuff with the platform for beneficial ownership, they're still here. They're still here. They're not gone anywhere. But we've lost 30 years, 35 years of having a proper instrument in place that could have extracted funds from the service fees, that could have went into a sovereignty, that made sure that our Caymanian children got proper education and health care for free. And nobody can tell me that it was impossible, because all of the numbers are there. You can find the best accountant in Cayman, and they can go through the books over the last 35 years on how much money was paid in to the private, to the law firms and the accounting firms and the banks, on how much money was paid into them for servicing overseas companies through hedge funds and mutual funds, and you will see a staggering number that has been derived in that industry, and the government got what? Work permit fees and service fees and licensing fees. That's not sufficient enough.
You're right, man. Well, I tell you, I wish I had reached out to you, was able to catch you when I reached out to you, man, because I would love if you accompany next, and then we can, between two of us, maybe cause some trouble today. I mean,
But I realize that Susan must be telling you need to go to a break. And with my premonition, I'll leave you there. And like I said, it's unfortunate that here we are having these long, drawn-out conversations about conveniences for certain minority groups in our society, when the one single biggest thing that affects all of us and makes it inconvenient for all of us is the cost of living, and nobody's not talking about it.
Yeah, man. Well, there's a chair here, man. If you find your way out and you want to sit next to me and look at Susan, come on by, man.
All right, man. I'll see if the traffic is not so bad. I'll catch half hour.
There you go. Hey, right, thanks, man. With that, though, we can appreciate a quick short break, as I call it, alluded to. We have some calls online. Respectfully, we want to join you right after. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Get ready for the 4th annual Batabanu Juve Road Parade. Saturday, April 27th, 4 a.m. You heard right, 4 a.m. Saturday, April 27th, the Batabanu Juve Road Parade. More mud, more water, more paint, more powder, more drinks. Come jump up with your family for the unforgettable Batabanu Juve Road Parade and Breakfast Fest. Purchase tickets on eventpro.ky. Sponsored by the Department of Tourism, Ministry of Tourism, Cayman Airways, Andy's Car Rental, Pinnacle Media, Le Classique, DMS Broadcasting, and Radio Cayman. Check CaymanCarnival.com for more information. At Powerhouse Gym, where you feel like home in a multicultural energy environment for all. They are dedicated to helping you achieve your fitness goals. Whether you have decided to get in shape, train for a specific sport, boost your energy levels, or even look your best for a special day. With a variety of sports options, group fitness classes, CrossFit outdoor gym. They provide personal trainers and equipment. Powerhouse Gym, King Sports Center, offers a complete health and recreational environment for the only sports and recreational facility of its kind in the Cayman Islands. For more information, call 946-5464. Email kings@candw.ky or visit www.kingsportscenter.com. Powerhouse Gym, King Sports Center. Serious results, period.
These are our kids, and just like your kids, it seems that what we tell them goes through one ear and come out the other. But guess what? When it comes to making tough decisions like whether or not to drink, know it. that kids say their parents have the biggest influence more than anyone. So talk to your kids. Let's work together to stop underage drinking before it starts. This message is brought to you by Radio Cayman and the National Drug Council.
But I do have some questions.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program. Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for joining us. It is open line. Let's go straight to our phones. Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for calling. Hello, good afternoon. Hey, there you go. 949-8037 or 1-800-534-TALK. As we join our callers, welcome, good afternoon. Okay. And it is a couple of callers there. Good afternoon, welcome.
Yes, good afternoon, Dwayne.
Hey, how are you, man? How are you today?
Okay. Let's say the Premier was speaking about concern about when people retire, if they would have enough money in their retirement fund after retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very concerned about it because he believed that a lot of people after retirement, after the 5% that they put in and their employers put in, he believed that it would not be enough for a lot of people after they retire.
Mm-hmm.
I believe what he's saying is true. And for many years now, the government has been giving away a lot of concessions. Hundreds of millions of dollars worth of concessions. And I think it's time now for the government to start collecting these concessions and putting this money towards a pension fund for individuals after retirement who may not have enough money after retirement. A gentleman said that he had retired from a company and he had poured $2,000 in his pension. And they gave him $12,000 a year, $1,000 a month. And within 4 years, that poured $2,000 was finished. So government needs to think seriously about this.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're going to be the ones in the long run when it comes to NAU that are going to have to take care of these individuals. So I think they need to start collecting these concessions while things are in the country where there are a lot of people coming here to invest and building a lot of buildings, expensive buildings. They need to start collecting these concessions and putting this money towards a pension fund and stop allowing these billionaires to get away with these concessions the way that they are, because these billionaires, they don't have to worry about no money after retirement, you know. Thank you very much, Dwayne.
Well, I appreciate you sharing. And as as a listener, I'm wondering, looking at a message from someone here that is questioning to what extent are we looking at not just the cost of living now, but as the caller was sharing, what's going to require for us to live on when we retire. 949-8037 or 949-6990. Let's go to our phones. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Yeah, hello.
Hey, my friend, how you doing?
All right, Mr. D.
Welcome to you, man. Thanks for sharing with us.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so you ready for some trouble?
Go right ahead, man. Go right ahead.
Let's start with some trouble.
All right, let's go.
All right. So, think about this now, right? You got $1 billion thing out there, right?
Mm-hmm.
The cannabis. Now, that can pay off, if you tax that, that can pay off everybody. Pension, everybody, retirement. All the elderly, all the young, all the sick. That can do all that, you know. That can help all that, you know. No joke. No, for real. Is no. no lie in that, no false. Like how the dollar, you gotta believe what the dollar worth.
Mm-hmm.
That in none of that, because even if you don't grow or you don't have the one that gets you high, you got something out there that beneficial for you. Like say your diabetes or your obesity or your anxiety or something like that. You got something essential. What you call essential oils.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can make enough. Then what the last caller thought about $1,000 a month. More than $1,000 a month. You don't have to smoke this. You don't have to use this. You don't have to do nothing with this. All you have to do is just master your art of growing. Get back into nature. You can make stuff out of this. But you know what? I bet you if we could make a bomb out of this, right? I bet you this would be legal a long time.
If you feel it had other uses. So now, for those who are listening and not sure, and you say that this now could pay for retirement or healthcare or all these things, it's a lot of money for governments to make. How so for those who are not sure? How so?
All right. So you got 100 square foot an apartment or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you rented the apartment out for $1,000. You only collecting $1,000 a month, every month, right? But if you put something up inside it where you get in almost let's say 1,000 or let's say $500 a square foot. You got 100 square feet up inside in, right? You're getting $500 for one square foot. You tell me that how much that is? 5,000, 50,000. How much that is? 100 times 500.
Mm-hmm. So 100 times 500 is there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So when we look at that, then is that money that you think if the government regulates the sector and taxes it and money that probably now is in the illegal economy, for want of a better word, comes into the government coffers instead?
Mm-hmm. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
The owner of the 100 square feet, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're getting paid, whatever they yield out of the 100 square feet, right? Times 500. Say it's a pound, 500. So you get 15 pounds out of that. All that times 500. Okay? Now, the government have to go now and sell that or make that back into something that they're going to make 2,500 off of a pound. That's a whole pile of money, Mr. D. And I even going to break it down because the lobbyists, they're listening so hard, right, that they would love to jump on this, but they can't go against the number one product, and that's alcohol and tourism. When you call about sipping pina coladas, this is the dream they sell here, that we all sipping pina coladas on the beach, watching girls in bikinis. That's what they thinking we doing down here. But what they say, the highest inconvenience is what? The cost of living.
Do you think when we look at the... listen to what you share, and I was just reflecting on a conversation someone had again a few weeks ago. And I don't want to say it in a way that may cause people to misinterpret. They were suggesting that when Caymanians specifically see the tourists, now we've heard this many times in the past, so the tourist is here on holiday, but we see them enjoying it, staying in the hotels, relaxing on the beaches, that we somehow fail to understand that they're on vacation, and so the money that they're spending is either money that they saved or they find a way to pay for it. I don't know if I necessarily subscribe to that, but what's your view? Do you think that has caused Caymanians to not understand that's in fact they're on vacation. Just like when we go on vacation, we are spending money that we either borrowed, hopefully not, or we saved, or it's money that we have because we're on vacation. We're sleeping late or getting up early, or we're going to attractions, or we're eating out. Do you think the Caymanians, as some have suggested, don't understand that?
Tell me something. How much Caymanians really know what vacation is?
Well, that's the question that I think hasn't been asked, right? Increasingly, a lot of people here haven't had a vacation. I said earlier, I was talking to a guy this morning who, how do I put it, sufficiently positioned within his sector, and even though yesterday was a public holiday, right, in this country, like many other holidays that are not holidays in other jurisdictions, many of the staff have to work that day to service the clients in those jurisdictions. But in some of those jurisdictions where there are public holidays that are not here, they're also working. So to your point, where is that quality of life? And he referenced that they were trying to hire this incredible, person they thought would have been excellent, for their team. But she's probably not going to take up the offer because part of it is that she's looking for a little bit more than just, the paycheck. Not the opera, not the theater, but that quality of life that may be offered in another jurisdiction where you get a few hours for yourself when the week is over, and suggesting that in this jurisdiction we're losing sight of the importance of that time together. We're working. Even
look at Sweden and look at Denmark. These some big countries. They got a population way above us, and how they got things set, and their quality of life is so much better, or so they say over there. You got when you get pregnant, the mom and the dad they get time off.
Mm-hmm.
Down here, we on an island, we representing what people dream of.
Right.
We don't have that quality of life. You know why? Because they got us chasing these false advertisements,
right,
that they're gonna do this and they're gonna do that, and they don't do nothing.
Well, as you sharing, someone sent through a message, and I'm just looking at it quickly because they're talking about a few issues relative to retirement age and the like, and I think it speaks exactly what they commend you for you sharing, and they say we need to look at how we're going to pay for education and healthcare, and also when we look at retirement, the fact that we have a retirement age, and that in and of itself may be something that we need to consider whether there should even be an age. Should it not be at a person's choice?
It should be, yeah. It should be when a person, when they feel like they can't work no more. We don't have no taxes, right? But what would be a better thing to tax than cannabis?
Mm-hmm.
Or to say that we have at least this one tax, that we can say at least we have one tax, that we tax something, and that's cannabis.
Yeah.
And we living off the benefits of that.
When we look at Cayman, for instance, and if someone was to share that, like everything, the economies of scale, we don't have enough people here to do certain things. So if we were looking at cannabis, for instance, there are not enough people here to engage in it. How are we going to make money? I mean, other states in the U.S. or other jurisdictions, Canada, for instance, they got tens of millions of people. We only got a few people. Do we have enough people to make it worthwhile financially?
We most definitely do. Come all three islands,
mm-hmm,
including the whole Caribbean. But it's not just, this couldn't be just for us. This had to be the whole Caribbean. The whole Caribbean would have to be involved in this. Whole Caribbean. We'd have to ship thousands of pounds every day to these big countries. Because you know why? The pharmaceutical company has taken that over, and we, the Caribbean, down to the south, is the only persons left with the originals. The originals is us, Philippines, and Myanmar. That's about it. with the original.
Hmm.
Everything is crossbred, and so you look up something called spice, right? Oh my God, you see the tragedies that is going through just buying it, and it's legal.
Yeah. Well, that's So I mean, when Jeff was here, recognizing that our students, he's looking, as he talked about, he said this publicly, right? And we took the opportunity to have parents speak to their children. Here's a Caymanian lad off to the UK for school. All right, very excited, very happy for him. Everybody's encouraging and praying for him with him. And he says, "What the food over there is seasoned with tears, and so salt and tears, right? It was horrible. So he wanted to find something to give his food some flavor. He's looking for spice, not knowing that that's a code name, I guess, for a drug, and could have easily landed himself in serious trouble. And he's not a teenager, right? Jeff is not someone who is stupid. So you're right, man. A lot of challenges. As we go to the break, quickly, anything else you want to share with us?
No, I say you can never talk. You would never be able to talk to him again if he had touched that.
But this is it. I mean, not only what it may have done to him, he said, look at it. What if I had got caught and very innocently, very stupidly thinking I'm looking for some salt and pepper and some cayenne and some spice to put some flavor in his food, ended up, being busted by police. And look at all the trouble that could have caused for him. Little things that people don't appreciate, when we come from here. Yeah, man. Hey, thanks very much, my friend. Let's pause and take a break. Some other calls to join us, so please stay tuned for Talk Today.
Circle of Love Women's Ministry and DCFS would like to thank our gold sponsors for their support of the annual Child Month Breakfast on May 11, 2019. Cayman National Bank, Persona Events, Wendy's, Book Nook, Marriott Beach Resort, Atlantic Kids, Foster's Food Fair, and Cayman Islands Monetary Authority. Thank you, gold sponsors, for empowering, impacting, and encouraging the future of the Cayman Islands. For more information on the Child Month Breakfast or to be a sponsor, contact Shanda Hunter at 922-3229.
Headlines. With the latest headlines. All the news when you want it. Tune in to Radio Cayman for hourly headlines of the day's top stories.
One of Cayman's bright and shining young stars.
Local, regional, international.
Turning to international news.
Updates on the hour between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. on weekdays. Radio Cayman News.
Headlines.
Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
Did you know the procurement process for the cruise berth facility has gone above and beyond to make sure that we get this project right? Government commissioned some of the most respected companies in the world to carry out research on scientific studies, and their expertise and findings are being used to make the best decisions possible. Learn more and spread the word.
Support our tourism.
Talk today.
But I do have some questions.
Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. Thanks for joining. As we invite you to share your thoughts with us, 8949-8037 or 949-6990. Of course, you can call us on our toll-free line, 1-800-534-TALK. Or you can WhatsApp. Send us a voice note, record it, send it across. Or you can just type it up, send it through, read it for you. WhatsApp, 925-3261. It's the Tuesday, and after a long weekend, many of us are still, feeling as if, could just another day longer. Some of us, in order to be prepared for today, we were working. For some of us, really, yesterday was a holiday. We were working anyway. And not just those in the hospitality sector or the emergency services. It's becoming, as a few of you have shared with me again this morning, an accepted practice now in this jurisdiction that in many of the financial services sort of entities, many of you are expected to work on public holidays that are not necessarily the ones, that are here. Let's go to our phones, though. Good afternoon. You're on Talk Today. Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, Dwayne.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, not bad. How are you?
Oh, I tell you what, man, I've been accused of being handsome today. I thought, what?
Oh,
I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed.
that's right. Yeah. Anyway, I'm just calling regarding the airport situation now, since it's supposedly been opened.
Mm-hmm.
They say it wasn't finished, whatever. But my point today, okay, when you step out, you arrive here. You get to the arrival area. You're looking at taxi. The taxis right now are situated across 3 lanes. You got 3 lanes as you come out the arrival area. There's 3 lanes, 1, 2, 3.
Mm-hmm.
Then over on the far right-hand side, you got the taxis lined up, and then you have the dispatch. You have the dispatcher who's almost down to the departure area. You got families crossing the road, crossing those 3 lanes. Some families. I know a gentleman last week. He refused to cross the road. A taxi had to go across the road to pick him and his family up. Okay. So my complaint, the visitors are complaining. It is very unsafe. It's also very inconvenient. I mean, nowhere have I really gone in the world that if I want a taxi, when you come right out that door and you want a taxi, the taxi pulls up to you. You don't have to drag 5, 6 children across the road with a pile of luggage and then way down the road to get to the first taxi in line. I mean, it could be pouring down rain. What do? You stay over there where there's a little bit of cover, and then when the rain stops, you cross over and get a taxi. I don't think that is very hospitable.
From what you see now, you think this is just a short-term measure? This is how it's going to be going forward, you think?
Final thing, they have one little booth there, which is not in use because of how it's set up. The door is on one side with one little peephole, one little window. It's not exactly a peephole, but it's not much. It's not very big. But the old dispatch booth that they have that outside of that little booth sitting down there. Then there's not a lot of room on that strip of concrete for people to stand. I mean, if it's pouring down rain, like Saturday, the dispatchers were getting wet, people were getting wet.
How can that be fixed?
It's not nice. And then you have Majestic and Webster. They're parked where we used to park, right up along the curb there, where you just walk around and get a taxi. They're parked there. They're inside. People are, their representatives are inside with a sign waiting for their people. They should be over where we are, or find some other spot where they used to park before. This is very, very unsafe. I mean, it's you would have to really drive up there to see the confusion. People are coming. There's no signs telling you taxis down there. I stood up and I watched it yesterday, and I actually walked across the road. I saw these 4 women, and I said, "You need a taxi?" And they're like, "Yes." I said, "Well, let me." I had to point the booth out to them way down the road. I said, "You see that little blue booth over there? That's where you go to get a taxi." And I am so embarrassed. I am so embarrassed at that.
Now, from what you've seen, what can they do to fix it? How can we fix it?
We're demanding, the taxi drivers. I've spoken to pretty much almost all the drivers up there, and we're demanding that we be reinstated, put back over where we used to be. This is pure foolishness. I mean, I picked up a gentleman on Saturday. He had been coming here for over 25 years. He's a pilot on one of the airlines that flies here. Okay? And you know what he told me? It's a disaster. That was the word he described, used to describe it. A disaster. And he said he's going to write in to Mr. Kirkconnell about that.
Maybe he should write it to the media, make an open letter so that the public can hear it, because it's unfortunate that, as you shared, as much as we try to make it better, sometimes we're misguided in it. I haven't had the opportunity to experience what you shared, but unfortunately, a lot of students have just shared comments that they found that the building itself is ugly. That's probably the nicest way I could put it publicly. And these are students, and they not even high school students. Some of these are, in middle school, and they're talking about how ugly the building is. They're questioning whether it's, how we're going to perform in a hurricane. It's a lot of things. I mean, and these are, like I said, children, and you think, wow, if you just would just listen, out of the mouths of babes.
Out of the what?
The mouths of babes, Remember that?
Yeah,
So little children know.
Exactly. They're seeing it.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing, the departure. Okay, there's no signs outside that says arrivals here. Nothing like that. Nothing saying arrivals. Hanging up top there where you can read. People read. Especially at an airport. I mean, they need to know where to go. The departure area is all the way down to the end, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know where a sign is that's telling you something about that. It's down to the very end of the departure area when you're almost exiting to leave the airport. That's where it is. It says ticketing and what? Ticketing and something.
Right.
But anyway, those words are behind a big column, so you can only see one word, tick, and then you see a G on the end over there. It is. I tell you, it's a disaster.
Yeah, I want to ask you, and I appreciate you, having the courage to say so publicly, for what it's worth. And I mean, if they're telling me, then it must be others are saying. But a lot of people, and even those Caymanians and residents who go between Grand Cayman and the sister islands, who go back and forth, maybe a couple of times a month, a couple of times a week. Those individuals, as well as those who have friends and family coming from overseas, a lot of them are sharing what you shared. I've asked just one, just as long as we can, we're having a chat, who were lamenting complaining, basically, how bad it is. And I said, well, did you say anything to anybody? You have the ears of some people that are much more, accessible than I do. Oh, no, I don't want to offend anybody. Don't want to make anybody feel bad. But if we're all embarrassed by it, as you were sharing, how do we get it fixed?
I spoke to, or I didn't speak. That's a lie.
Mm-hmm.
I called two of the supervisors from the airport, who were my supervisors up there. And that's been about 3 weeks now. And I left messages for both individuals and not received one phone call. Haven't received a call from either one of them. And one more thing too about concerning the jetways that we don't have. Hello?
Are you there?
Yeah.
Oh, you're another line too.
Yeah, there was. I picked up a family on Saturday,
mm-hmm.
and they were telling me too that there were a few, pretty heavy set people on board, and they had to literally help them down the stairwell coming from the airline.
Mm-hmm.
They had to be, helped down there. I mean, that's
so the accessibility is a challenge as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
But crossing that road, or those 3 lanes, that's a poor idea. And then they have all these doors that you can exit or enter from, or enter through from the airport. You got over there where we used to be.
Mm-hmm.
Then further down, you got another one, and you got another door. So people are coming out of all kinds of doors, or anywhere that they can get out of the airport through.
Yeah. Well, hopefully
it's total confusion.
Yeah, this is just growing pains. Maybe they're just little things as they, work it out the kinks, and it'll be quickly resolved.
Design that. I don't want to use that word. And whoever approves it,
yeah,
the same applies, because
Yeah. Well, I haven't had much experience with it. I haven't been up there much, so.
You take a drive through there and see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man. Well, I can share with you from what others have said who travel, like I said, back and forth to the Bracken, Little Cayman, or, off island on one of the Cayman Airways jaunts. But yeah, I haven't had it personally. But hopefully it's fixed soon, because we're spending, 100 million, maybe a little more. You never know, you know.
That airport, you should be able to walk right out and get a taxi right by your feet. You shouldn't have to walk all the way, about what?
Safe and convenient, right?
5 minutes to get where you're going.
Yeah. Well, listen, thanks for not only being the great ambassador you are, being vigilant, but having the courage to share what you're sharing, and that experience hopefully will cause people to at least appreciate that. Yeah, they may not like what they're hearing, but if it's true and they can do something to fix it, then it makes it better.
Another thing too, Dwayne, the general, the population here, the people who are coming to pick up their friends or families or whatever, they're the ones who have the right or getting the rights over us. They should be waiting over on the other side, or go park and pay government $2. But no, they want to circle and circle and circle and circle, and then they're getting to be. You see, right parallel along the airport, they got this big cover. But yet, when you go over there by the taxi stand now, where it is now, you got one little piece of cover. I mean, what in the high season? Then you got to have that same situation where people are going to be standing way down the road there in the broiling hot sun. Then you got that cover over there where they could be standing, and we can just keep moving, and have the public using the other 2 lanes that we're in.
Yeah. Well, I'll as you just shared that, the fellow was saying to me that he went to pick up someone just couldn't have been that long ago. Just recently, I took it. For whatever reason, he must go to the airport early, whether the misunderstanding what time the flight was coming in, whether it was delayed, I don't know. He said he parked, and then finally when they came out, he went back and got the car, drove around, and was trying to come into the curb to pick him up to load the luggage. And he said that was difficult, not only the commotion that was there, but the lack of sort of proper instructions, and whoever was there directing people. I sensed there would have been a police officer, but it was chaotic, was the word that he used. Is that how it is too, even when you're trying to pull up to get someone to put in the luggage and get into the car?
Well, that could be a problem, but what I'm saying is if they were driving through the other 2 lanes, the people could possibly walk across over there, providing it's not pouring down rain. They could walk across and catch their vehicle or whatever. We're providing a service here. We're paying to operate there.
Yeah. Well, I know some people who are traveling who probably have either come back in the next couple of days. I'll make a point to ask them what it was their experience. Now, not a lot of people, so it's not going to be in a great evidence-based research. But if you're telling me and you experiencing it, then I know that you're honest and your heart's in the right place. So hopefully we're listening. Anything finally you want to share with us?
I want them to put us back over there no later than Monday of next week. Okay. We're going to block the airport if they don't do it.
There you go. All right. Well, thank you for sharing. Enjoy your afternoon. All right.
Call it. Call us to let us know what's going to take place, because we're definitely not going to be staying over there.
Okay. Perfect. And they are the ambassadors. So let's pause and we take a break. Go to our news. When we come back, join us. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
A deportation order is issued for a 30-year-old Jamaican man who pled guilty to overstaying in Cayman and working without a work permit for 5 months. DeJohn Davis entered guilty pleas to the charges in the summary court earlier today. The magistrate heard Davis was working on the island legally for 2 years as a security officer prior to September 2018. When he was arrested, he was living out of his car and trying to secure funds to purchase a ticket to leave Cayman. His attorney asked the judge to impose a 6-week prison sentence, which is the amount of time he has already served in custody. Good afternoon, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, the Islamic State group may be linked to bomb blast which killed 321 people and wounded 500 in Sri Lanka, the country's prime minister has said. Ranil Wickremesinghe said the government believed Sunday's attacks could not have been carried out without links to terror groups abroad. The first mass funeral was held today as Sri Lanka marked an official day of mourning for the victims. A state of emergency remains in effect to prevent further attacks. U.S. President Donald Trump will make a 3-day state visit to the UK from June 3rd through the 5th. Buckingham Palace has announced the President and First Lady Melania Trump will be guests of the Queen and attend a ceremony in Portsmouth to mark 75 years since the D-Day landings. He will also have official talks with the Prime Minister at Downing Street. And North Korean state media has confirmed that leader Kim Jong-un will travel to Russia soon for his very first meeting with Vladimir Putin. While no date has been announced, the Kremlin has also said the two will meet in the second half of April. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. It's open line. It's the Tuesday following Easter Monday, man, and some of us are like, whoa, it's already Christmas. 949-8037 or 949-6990. Call and share your thoughts with us. You can use our toll-free line if you so choose. 1-800-534-8255. But you can call and share your thoughts by recording the voice note, 925-3261. Or you can type it up and just WhatsApp it through, 925-3261. Happy for you to share your thoughts either way. And whatever's best for you, please use that option. As a caller before we're sharing, many have been asking the question, as the government spends money, either directly through central government or through the statutory authorities, whether it's funding from in-house, whether it's borrowing, are we getting value for money? Are we looking at it long term? Is it something? And I think many people have been excited about the redevelopment of the airport. I don't say that, what I said earlier, to be overly offensive, but I guess everything like art is subjective. And many young students, some of whom, talk about wanting to be engineers, structural, civil, and otherwise, some who want to be architects and the like, and they say, man, that's an ugly building, and that's a perspective. Some may be offended, some may be in agreement. But the question is it functional? Is it cost effective? And as a caller just before shared, it's not working yet. Can we fix it? Let's go to our phones. Welcome. Good afternoon. You're on Talk Today.
Hello. Good afternoon, Sterling.
Hey, my friend. How are you today?
Well, good. Can't complain. Health and strength. Rambo, man.
Amen, Rambo. Amen to that.
Sterling, you see the airport, right?
Mm-hmm.
The airport problem now. I tell you, I called Rooster 2014 February, right? All stars were on.
Mm-hmm.
Europe McKean were on. RM McLean and Elton were on.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like allocate the airport to the eastern districts of the south.
Yep.
Fire infrastructure, fuel, that's it. But I don't care what's done that. Okay? And I was telling, listen, to resolve any expenditure, that's it, right? Hello?
Uh-huh.
That's all, yeah.
Yeah, man, you are, man. Listen to you.
Like I said again, simple logic, legalizing of sensimina herbs, marijuana, that can alleviate everything. You tell you?
Right. But why? How would it?
Sterling, exemplify.
Mm-hmm.
Look at October 17th, my brother gone to Canada.
Canada, right?
Right? I mean, obviously, we are them, right? We under the Union Jack, right? We are in UK territory. We colonize with their language, right? We England, I understand. But look at October 17th, the deficit paid off right away. Right? Two years ago, 5.7 billion in the US capital allocates.
Mm-hmm.
Right away, left, right, center. In enforcement, happy free over there.
Yeah.
Happy free.
Yeah. Now, if I can ask you, because see, you like someone like you, thankfully, you read, you understand, you have a perspective, right? help me to get it. If I were looking at Cayman and people were saying, well, the population in Cayman is 100,000. Let's round it up to the nearest 100,000. We don't have enough people that would be smoking it, using it, that we could generate billions of dollars. So it's just the population is too small.
Darling,
Mm-hmm.
I see about 2 years ago, year and a half ago, or about two years ago, in newspaper, they say the locals placed to my record over 10,000. And estimate you find who's going to then and now.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it. Hello, and I increase. You over this whole Easter weekend?
Mm-hmm.
About who blazing? You were surprised who that blaze? But they go what today? Some pretty high class woman.
Yeah.
But she blaze weekend. But that's a simple thing. It's done in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like I said again, you can legalize in many ways, right? Recreation, medicine, entertainment. Look at that soft thing. Look for medicine, glaucoma, epilepsy, chronic pain, cancer, AIDS patient, open the appetite. That's a simple thing. And but I do those. Like I said, I believe in that, right?
Mm-hmm.
In governance, the method of governance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, socially, economically. You can be optimistic about it, pessimistic, or realist, or you can be pragmatic. Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
But I go through the 5 channels. You feel that? It's turning like the cost of living will always increase. We always rely on important things. We are the manufacturer. The only thing where sales go down, expiry date coming up. The best of use. Yeah? That's the only thing.
Sadly,
all the commodities, right? There was fuel, oil, imperial, right? Venezuela, they send all every to people right now. And that place is turmoil. You tell you? So, we are dog Bastunia, the Texas with a ranch now. That way, so then, we do something. Whenever I come on and talk, so, I got made of laws talk about everything. I got laid out everything.
Right.
I take time, I'm a dialect, my speech. I can talk fast, but differently. The legalize marijuana, I tell you, that tailor made. But people feel afraid of it because they have the cause or agenda. Listen, that's a norm. Like I told you, opposition leader on Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
that's a norm, bro. Yeah, I tell you, that's a norm. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, as you say, you may talk fast, but maybe some people need to be, start listening so slow. They can hear what you're sharing. You making good points, and I enjoy listening to you. But for the wider public, their problem, more of us who drink and smoke and engage in behaviors that we think people don't know. We pretend to be this when we're not. But for the perspective that the country is going to get taxable revenues from whether it's alcohol, tobacco, whether it's cannabis or otherwise, is that enough in itself to outweigh whatever potential negatives there may come from it?
All right. So like
all
of those free substances you mentioned, right?
Right.
The marijuana, that liquor out of the park. I tell you, those funds and currencies right away. And like I said again, you see Portugal, they legalize every drug under alcoholic, And the citizens, they can find a way. We can't fall out. That's too extreme. In Sterling, I change the subject, but you see the cocaine epidemic, back in Cayman again. I tell you, for the last year and a half, I thought young people in me now. I tell you, they put cocaine in a cigarette, cocaine in a beer. I tell you.
Serious?
Yeah. So, we hear me call talk show and remember up. Hello.
So the cocaine epidemic that we saw in the 80s, you're saying now that it's becoming readily available. More and more people are using cocaine now. Yeah, sorry, Colin?
People like me, I be trying to find it there now. Right? And I let touch cocaine in my life. Never did. I say far from it. Because some people, when you touch cocaine, they put your hands.
Yeah.
You get high, You really get your latest loves.
Well, it kills you too.
Right away. Illegal now.
Yeah, it can kill you. I mean, that's a known fact, right?
But yeah, illegal. Cocaine, exercise. Same thing. Yeah. In this exercise, kill you right away too. But so then the bunch of me, listen, man, you got to get head up, no customer worsley. But listen, okay, man.
Just take your time, man. I listen to you, man.
Okay, man, go wake up, man, smell the coffee because we are left behind now. And listen, is it Ireland, the premier?
Mm-hmm.
Are you aware that he won the UK? He addressed some of the constitution.
Right.
Beneficial. He's a good speaker. I know personally.
Yeah, man.
Speaker.
Yeah, he is.
But different that he got to tell him what time it is. You know, if I see a person, he listen to me now sometimes, but you got to tell him what time it is. You know, even Mr. Boston, Speaker of the House, you can talk to. Jim Bonnie, he rest in peace. But the people that I know that can tell him what time it is.
Yeah, man. Well, as you shared, the Honorable Premier is not only very intelligent, but as you say, eloquent. He speaks well, and as he is traveling, into the UK, he can meet with people there, have some dinner engagements. He's going to be over at Monaco talking with the whole fam for the Maritime.
The Maritime.
Yeah, man. And then he's going to do the Saint-Tropez to Monaco charter bike ride as well. So representing the country well, enjoying himself as well, hopefully.
Yeah, you just saw, like I said again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you represent the country, obviously, in a good term. But you see, listen, you see John McCorbin, right?
Mm-hmm.
The opposition in the UK, listen, for the start, he won't come and came on. He won't demolish it store, but surely. You know what I mean? Right? Just do that, and listen, and future predecessor in the UK, they not come back, they are hard task with the Brexit. Like, yeah, I tell you something right now. I call Rooster, right? I tell Rooster first, I tell you, I tell OC, UK fed up of the customs union, right? That borderline for insurance in the IRA. You see, the IRAs, continue to IRA, they serious radical extremists now. You know what I tell you? Look it up, the IRA. I know they're afraid of now, UK. I think they're afraid of.
Right.
Scotland take time withdrawing now. But it's serious now. Right? But now Sunday, whenever come on in the future, I press myself properly and do my thing.
Yeah, man.
Do my thing, right?
When you're ready.
You want to free up, man. Cool.
All right, listen, enjoy your afternoon. I appreciate listening to him. Let's pause, though, take our final break. When you come back, hey, you want to weigh in on the other side of the coin? You want to add another leg to the journey? 949-8037 or 1-800-534-TALK. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
It's Radio Cayman's 43rd anniversary. And to celebrate, we're offering all clients, businesses, and nonprofits special anniversary rates on commercial advertising all through April up until Mother's Day. Increase sales, drive store traffic, and gain customers and interest by advertising on the #1 station in talk radio and news. Radio Cayman 89.9 FM. 30 or 45-second commercials are as low as $10 with 3 advertising packages to choose from. Perfectly tailored for small, medium, or large businesses. Call Anita, Kathy, or Ray at 949-7799 or email rcsales@gov.ky for your Radio Cayman 43rd anniversary sales package today. Support our port, support our tourism.
Did you know government agreed very early on that the piers would be built on pilings in deeper water to minimize the environmental footprint? Marine life will still be able to move freely underneath them, and coral relocation remains part of the plan.
Looking forward, looking bright.
Learn more and spread the word.
Support our port, support our tourism.
But I do have some questions.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program. Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back to Talk Today. It's open line 949-8037 1-800-534-TALK. And equally, you can WhatsApp 925-3261. Let's go to our phones. Good afternoon. Welcome. You're on Talk Today.
Hi, Dwayne.
Hey, welcome back.
Yeah, it's me again. Margaret.
That's a good song. I think Susan plays it on Saturday sometimes.
Yeah. Listen, I forgot to mention, too, they have police up there, right? Some police up there at the airport. And they're... what I've overheard is that they get paid $20 an hour to be up there. I don't know why they're there, because Saturday, I was sitting in my car and I was reading a newspaper or something, I guess, something I was reading. And then somehow I just looked over by the arrival area, because I was way down the back of the line, and I looked and I see these people. They had pulled up and they were offloading their luggage. So I got out, because they're offloading it in the arrival area now, not the departure, because there's no sign that says arrivals here, departures, with an arrow pointing heading down, nothing like that. So this police officer, she was standing right next to these people, right? And so I walked over, I got out of my car and I walked over there and I said, you saw those people offloading their luggage there? And I said, but this is the arrival area, the departure's down there. Her words were to me, well, that is not my job. So obviously, their job must be to just come here and get a job and just take the government's money for no good reason. That's how I looked at that, because if that's, well, how hard it would have been for her to just say, sir, ma'am, the departure's down to the end. Just drive all the way down, right? That is not your job. What is your job? That's my question.
Yeah,
what is their duty?
Yeah, how do we work as, a welcome ambassador and still be enforcing, right?
Hands in their pockets, saying nothing, talking to friends and whatever, not paying attention to the public and what's going on. Anyway, that's my tweet for today, and I'll call you back maybe before the week is over, God's willing.
God's willing, yes, as you wish. And I think, as we listen to the caller, we hopefully can appreciate that we're trying to make all our services as efficient and effective, as courteous and hospitable. And there are times when, there are going to be some would share, growing pains. Sometimes, what was it our friend said one time? You don't want to make a mess of things, get an architect involved. That could be the challenge. But how do we make it better? We can find fault and pick it apart, and we can blame people. Somebody needs to be accountable and responsible. But how can we make it better? Make the adjustments now so that it's better going forward. And hopefully when the suggestion is made, it's one that is feasible, one that is taken on board willingly, and if it can be implemented to improve it, we'll do that. Now, is that a little bit too naive and idealistic? Perhaps, but if it can be better, why not? Hey, what's your thought? 949-8037, 949-6990. 1-800-534-8255. You can WhatsApp 925-3261. That way you can either record a voice note if that's your choice, or if you want to type it up and send it across, like you do a WhatsApp. Now, there are probably better ways and other more efficient and effective means, but if that's what we have for now, so let's use it. 949-8037 or 949-6990. A couple of comments were shared during the last few callers as we're looking at, and someone resent through the comment relative to Honorable Premier's travel, sharing that yes, he's away, and we need to look after not only the domestic affairs but our international sort of business. As this person relayed, we complain sometimes about our politicians traveling, but we don't understand how important it is for them to be there, and as they, negotiating and leveraging. Now, this person sort of posed the question, well, with the new ministry that has been created, this falls squarely. If the Honourable Premier is re-elected again, can't be Premier, perhaps this could be a nice fit for him. He's already sort of serving in that role. How do we make sure there's continuity for our people? The person's comments also relate to the fact that Cayman is still an important but a small fry in the whole scheme of things, and if we can make sure that we build in, this is my word, person didn't phrase it this way, but I thought this would be better, building bridges, networking. We can make sure that the country and its people have employment prospects, that the economy is sustainable, that the government's opportunities for raising and continuing to raise its revenue is healthy. That's good for us. We need to recognize that our politicians in particular, those who sit as Premier, have a very difficult, daunting task. It can't be that easy. So 949-837, 1-800-534-8255. The other comment that we looked at, someone shared, was talking sometime back when people were speaking about the retirement age, and I started to mention, they asked about the whole notion of, why do we have a retirement age, and why is it that some people seemingly can retire at different ages? I would message the person to ask if they could respond to clarify, because we were under the impression that even police officers, I think at age 55 now, mindful that this is not 100% accurate, it may have changed, were being asked to retire much earlier than their counterparts prior. So if that's still the case, if it isn't, certainly want to have that clarified. But judges, we know in some jurisdictions, and even here, can retire much later. But this person's view was, why is there a retirement age? If you're competent, if you're still willing and able to do the job, if you still have a job to do, why can't you not choose to work beyond some arbitrary age, whether that's 60 or 70 or 80, if you want to retire? The other comment that the person shared was this whole notion that retiring is going to become increasingly difficult, not only because of the cost of living, but the fact that we spend so much money on healthcare and on education, that if we were able to somehow share the costs of this. Now, I asked the person in the question back to them, well, how do we do that? How do we share the cost for these two areas? His view was, if we share the cost for these, then we'll have more money to be able to pay for other things. During the breaks, I was trying to look at some numbers and just do some averages. Now, it's just me sort of picking up on what a person shared. If you have a child, and the child is in, say, school, from age 3, sometimes we're paying fees for childcare prior to that. But let's say at age 3, age 5, and let's say we do it for 12, 15 years, and the average cost every year is 12,000. I mean, in short order, you could have spent an easy 200,000 or more. Now, what if you have more than one child, and then after graduation of high school, you want the child to continue into university? Let's say you get a full scholarship. Let's say you get no scholarship. How much are you spending? Are you spending 50,000? Are you spending 200,000? So could the education of that child, be equivalent to 250,000, 500,000? If you have more than one, is it that it increases by the corresponding amount, or is it exponential? Now, when you factor in healthcare for yourself and the other family members, how much is that? Looking at that from just a numerical perspective, I can see the person's comments relative to how expensive just those two areas, within a person's life can be, and how does that relate to a person's ability to retire, and retire with, money to live on. But what if now they have to pay for continued healthcare coverage? Is it accessible? Is it affordable? And as the sort of message sort of infers, have we got this whole equation sort of prioritized, and do we have it in the right way around? Well, hopefully the person responds to us that we can share with you later, but invite the rest of you to think about it equally and see if this is something that we need to address, so that we have not just one accessible, affordable, adequate health care, but one that doesn't burden, bankrupt someone should they experience not just a significant illness, but even just paying for it on a day-to-day basis. I invite you to join us again tomorrow for more Talk Today, right after the midday news and the midday meditation. The invitation also extends to join Mr. Art in the morning for the record. We still have for the record on tomorrow morning, Miss Susan. And while Mr. Art enjoys, his extended siesta, as it were, I always enjoy listening to him. I mean, those people who fill in for him, Miss Dawn and others from time to time, they do a great job. But I think they'll agree with me. Mr. Art just has that knack for it. He does it in the morning. And Susan reminds me as she whispers in my ear. I might wake up tomorrow morning and find this you hosting it. I think I have a fishing trip to go on. I just think I may be out fishing. Susan knows that's not the case. Well, listen, enjoy your afternoon. Become engaged, involved, and informed. Be encouraged and have, the courage to speak out to the callers who will join us and share their views, whether we agree with what they're saying, whether we necessarily follow their narrative. The fact that we live in a free and fair society that supposedly encourages people to think and act with not only a sense of diligence and independence, but a semblance of civility. It means that we have a healthy society. Please continue to be safe and courteous on our roads. If you can, do something that I'm not doing enough of, exercise and get some sunshine. But join me at least in laughing and exercising, a healthy smile. That goes a long way as well. Of course, call Miss Susan and make a request. If you're not sure what song to play, just listen. She's going to play it and it's going to sound good as you enjoy your afternoon. Until tomorrow, be blessed.
Shaken yet standing firm. This is Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.